If you bought and sold a unit at the Panorama, I guarantee you that you would have made money. How can I be so sure? Because everybody who has bought and sold a unit there has all made profits.
100%. 100%.
That's right, not a single soul has lost money at the Panorama. Most recent sales have profited around 600 to 800k to even over $1 million. It's clear that the Panorama has found the secret that's more than just luck. So what is it that this project has that so many other projects don't? And will the winning streak for the Panorama end one day? There are some condos that everybody talk about, but the Panorama, it flies under the radar. It is not a swanky new launch or some luxurious CBD condo. In fact, it is exactly the opposite. It is right in the heartlands, and that's what makes it so great. But things were not always so rosy. It was off to a rough start when it launched back in 2014. Let's uncover the Panorama's journey from struggle to success. We'll also talk about what made the Panorama so great as an investment, so that you know what to look out for. In order to be objective, I'll also talk about some traits which could harm the project in the long run. The Panorama is located at Ang Mo Kio Avenue 2. It was developed by Pine Hill Investments and has a total of 698 units, which is a very healthy project size. It has a few basic amenities near the CC, such as hawker centers and a few fast food joints. In terms of accessibility, it is close to Mayflower MRT station. This station has been quite a key player in the rise of this condo, so we'll talk about that in a bit as well. It launched at a very good price of about 1.1 to 1.3k PSF back in 2014. And that is where the secret to the Panorama's insane profit begins. If you're new here, my name is Daryl, and in this channel we talk about real estate in Singapore. Remember to like and subscribe if you want more unbiased condo and HDB videos. The Panorama launched at a very good price of 1.3k PSF back in 2014. In today's market, that just seems crazy cheap. What more for a condo in Ang Mo Kio? Just for some context, new launches today are mostly selling over 2,000 per square feet. In fact, even the units here at the Panorama are also asking for around 2,000 per square feet today as well. The launch price is a good thing because that means the first time buyers got to buy it cheap, so to speak, making it easier for them to turn a profit when they sell it off. But while it may look good on hindsight, the Panorama wasn't always the darling that it is today. Therefore, to understand the Panorama secret, we also need to understand why it launched at such a good price. The truth is that back in 2014, the property market wasn't as rosy as it is today. After we understand the first 3 secrets of the Panorama, we'll go back and talk about how the property market back in 2014 helped to set the Panorama up for success. But good things did not just happen back in 2014. A good launch price is only one of the many pieces to the Panorama's success. Therefore, let's take a look at one strong point of the condo that was not there during its launch. When the Panorama launched back in 2014, the Mayflower MRT station wasn't built yet. Thomson East Coast Line and Mayflower MRT only opened in 2021. This now meant that the Panorama was now walking distance to an MRT station. While the journey to the MRT station isn't 100% sheltered, it now takes less than 10 minutes from the side gate. But a good transport network is only one element of the project's fundamentals. In fact, the baseline fundamentals were already strong to begin with, even before the MRT station came into the picture. Therefore, to understand the secret behind the Panorama's insane profits, we should also examine its location. The Panorama is 1 km from CHIJ St. Nicholas Primary, making it very popular for parents who are trying to get within the 1 km radius to enroll their daughter in the school. With all the good points so far, it is easy to believe that the Panorama was a hit since day one. But this couldn't be further from the truth. The Panorama had a very slow start during its launch. The take-up was so poor that the developer had to slash prices during the launch. One possible reason for this is that the Panorama launched at a very unfortunate timing, right after multiple rounds of cooling measures. In late 2012, the loan to valuation was tightened, reducing the amount that the bank could lend to buyers. In January 2013, the additional buyer stamp duty or ABSD was increased, making it more challenging for buyers to purchase a second unit. The next blow was in June 2013 when the total debt servicing ratio or TDSR was introduced, again making it harder for buyers to secure a loan. Then finally, the Panorama launched at the unfortunate timing of May 2014, at the start of what I call the era of property stagnation in Singapore. Now there are 4 takeaways here. The first is that new launch condos were not always as hot as what they are today. And that's because, in general, the real estate market in Singapore was not always as rosy as it is today. And as a buyer, there are 2 things you can do about that. Firstly, you should not be swayed by all the hype. Instead, focus on a strong project and strong investment fundamentals. Lastly, as you see here, holding power is very key to making money in real estate over the long run. You can see here that a good investment in real estate is not just about the property that you buy, but about yourself as well. Your situation, your budget, and your planning. If you want to understand more about real estate from a beginner's perspective or other real estate investment concepts, remember to like and subscribe for more unbiased videos. So it is clear that the entry price gave the Panorama a head start. However, just a good head start alone would not have been enough. The real secret in the Panorama lies in its set of sound fundamentals. And one such fundamental and factor is the competition in the area. Ang Mo Kio has always been a hotspot for Singaporeans. It is a central, well-connected, and considered a very mature estate with lots of amenities. While it is a downside for Ang Mo Kio, on the flip side, it is probably one of the stronger traits of the Panorama. Therefore, in order to understand the Panorama's secret to insane profits, we also need to look at the number of condos in the vicinity. Ang Mo Kio is made up largely of HDBs and does not have many condos. So on one hand, you have many HDBs and potentially many HDB upgraders, but on the other hand, you do not have many condos for them to upgrade to. Add this to the fact that Ang Mo Kio by itself is a very favourable town, and you have a winning combination. Some of the few nearby condos would be the likes of Castle Green and the Kelrose, all of older age. Newer developments in the area like Ang Mo Residence, just like the Panorama, have also done quite well for itself. Therefore, we can conclude that the Panorama is not just in a favourable town, but in a favourable town with little competition. But while the Panorama has good fundamentals and Ang Mo Kio is a good town, we can't ignore the township that is developing right beside the condo itself. With many new launches in the last couple of years, Lentor could potentially bring more competition to the Panorama. I say this with a bit of hesitancy because while these two areas are nearby to one another, Lentor and Ang Mo Kio both have very different vibes, different audiences, and very different statuses. Besides just introducing competition, with a new mall now being just built one MRT stop away, the Lentor area could now even help to increase the attractiveness of the Panorama. What we have yet to see is the resale prices of the projects in Lentor, which could potentially be a booster to the Panorama's price as well. We've seen some of the secrets that has helped the Panorama attain insane profits, but no project is perfect. Now, let's look at some of the Panorama's negatives and see if any of these could potentially reverse the condo's winning streak. Firstly, the estate surrounding the Panorama largely comprises of landed homes and older HDBs. Personally, I feel that the older HDBs make the overall estate feel slightly older. But the physical age of the HDBs is only one issue with the location. There is a slightly deeper problem. Surrounding new BTO projects is something that I look out for in a condo. This is because having new BTOs nearby means that you have a ready pool of upgraders already eyeing your condo. And this could potentially help to increase the pool of exit audience, improving your exit strategy. While I doubt that the lack of HDB surrounding the Panorama would harm the project, it just gives it less of a boost. But the fact that the Panorama has done so well to date, even without these BTOs, is testament to the strong fundamentals of the project. So far, we've talked a lot about the surroundings, but in order to understand more about the secret behind the Panorama's insane profits, we also need to consider what is inside the project. The layouts here at the Panorama are pretty decent. The 2 and 3 bedders are very comfortably sized at 700 and 1000 square feet respectively. Not too large and not too small, and very efficiently designed. The more premium 3+ study units also have a landscape layout which I really like as well. But the unit does not come without its downsides. While the Panorama did get many things right, one small thing it didn't get quite right was its overall orientation. The outer facing units of the Panorama is where the challenge comes in. There aren't any really solid outer facing units. The west facing units get the landed view, which is great, but it also gets the brunt of the west and the setting sun. The south facing units get the school, which is usually not ideal due to the noise. The east facing units face the older HDB blocks, and so that leaves the north facing units, which are the only ones that seem ideal. But there is only one such block. I'm somebody who is quite particular about the facing of a unit, so this does bother me. But let me know in the comment section below, what is the one element that you dislike the most in the Panorama? Now, if we zoom out and away from the facings, we've seen some good points and some bad points. Many other projects have many of these points as well. The secret lies in how every piece of the puzzle has come together. This has given it a good head start and a set of strong fundamentals that keeps it going. When considering a big purchase like a home, either for your own stay or for an investment, it is important to understand how all the different elements come together to make up the final product. Understanding each point in isolation is not sufficient. A good entry price has given the Panorama a good head start in the capital growth journey. This really highlights the importance of entering your investment at a good price. While an entry price is one of the most important things when you think about an investment, in the context of the Panorama, it wouldn't have been enough to sustain its growth over 10 years. Over the years, one thing that has consistently stood out about the Panorama is its set of strong fundamentals, made up by things like the proximity to an MRT station, a good school, and the low competition in a very favorable area. But no project is perfect, as we have seen. It is important to consider the negatives and how they fit into the whole picture. Personally, I don't think that these negatives would have an impact because they've always been there since day one. So probably the biggest wildcard or the biggest question mark is the Lentor area and how it would perform. So far, the Panorama has been a success case of a project with a strong exit strategy. But not every project has such strong fundamentals as the Panorama. If you want to see a project which has a very quaint vibe for own stay but lacks a Panorama strong exit strategy, check out my video of the Greenwich here.